Today I want to talk to you about immersion and how it relates to voice experiences. Firstly, what is immersion? Have you ever been so absorbed in a film that you forgot where you were? You became so involved in the characters and story that you stopped thinking about your real surroundings. You forgot that you were in a cinema watching a film. That was immersion. Immersion is often called suspension of disbelief by filmmakers because the audience stops questioning the fictional story that they're experiencing and accept it as some kind of reality. If the audience doesn't believe what they're experiencing, then they're likely to lose interest and just go and find something else to do with their time. Audio plays a huge role in creating an immersive experience. Sound surrounds you. Look at this modern cinema. The speakers are mounted all around the room, but there's only one screen. Now, if you were to go and watch a film with the sound muted, what do you experience? Well, I'd say you'll discover that a lot of the detail, the mood, and the context of the events that occur has been lost. And of course, you won't hear the voices of the characters. George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, said, "Sound is half the experience in seeing a film." Usually, sound departments working on films or games or radio plays go to great lengths to make the soundtrack as real as possible, even if the story occurs in an imaginary world. Think of characters such as Gollum, Yoda, or C-3PO. They looked otherworldly, but the filmmakers used real voices to make those characters believable. C-3PO's voice was the actor Anthony Daniels. Gollum's visuals were digitally rendered, but his voice was Andy Serkis.
God, you know what? Caesar, I'm on Conan.
And Little Green Yoda. He was a puppet, but his voice came from the actor Frank Oz.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Nearly every fictional character that you see on screen was voiced by a living person. It's still extremely rare to synthesize a voice entirely without recording a living actor. So, the million-dollar question, how does this relate to voice assistants? Well, voice assistants commonly use a completely different approach. Characters in voice experiences commonly have no visuals at all, unless of course it's multimodal, and the voice is usually synthetic, such as text-to-speech. Does that allow for immersion? I'm not so sure. I'm not aware of any single user who believed that when they heard text-to-speech, they thought they were listening to a real living person. If you know of that occurring, please get in touch. I would love to hear about it. And the role of sound in creating immersive experiences goes beyond voices. Your user should believe that they are in the world that you want them to believe they are in. For example, if your experience is set in Antarctica, then you should have the sound of a brutally cold, icy wind that makes them feel like they are there. Whatever your story needs. So, is this relevant to your designs? I think that if you're making an experience that's based around a narrative, such as a game or a radio drama or something of that type, then the answer is definitely yes. You're competing against all the other story-based media that uses a sound team. There are conventions for working with sound that have been refined over decades, and they work. And if you create something that competes against people who use those conventions, then you're going to have to make sure that your work stands out against what they're doing. So you should listen to them for inspiration. But is this only relevant to experiences with a fictional narrative? Maybe not. I think it needs to be tested. Maybe your users do need to be properly immersed in the experience and believe it enough to properly engage with it. So to conclude, sound really helps with immersion, and it might just be the special sauce that your voice experience is needing. I would like to ask Jason and Yaki about their work with Anna. 2 questions. Firstly, what should people believe that Anna is? Is she a bot or a human or something else? Secondly, do you think that users need to believe in Anna to properly engage in a conversation with her? I'll be back soon with more sound advice.